What's up, guys? Golf Grand Prix here. This is round number 2. So let me show you the rewards here. You'll see a little bit shifted rewards. We got some practice pins. We got some, good win pins and some good Pro DX that we're going to be playing for. This is in the highest division, so the Tour Pro. You're going to see the best rewards here. So if you get the opportunity to play up, highly recommended, as you'll see the better pins that come that way specifically. Let me show you guys the clubs that we're going to be dealing with today. We're also going to be using Guide for Ultimate Golf app. So Nautilus, Hellfire, Peg, a lot of commons and epics here. And we'll be using, like I mentioned, Guide for Ultimate Golf, free to download in the Android store, Apple store. And we make sure that you parallel every club. And you can see that's what I've done here as I've put all the clubs in. That's the win calculator. If I was to go to the bag setup, you'll see my bag setup. It's going to have all of these clubs exactly how you see in the game for today. And that's going to be the best tip for honing in on those ring adjustments. Getting the ball off the tee here, not going to be too big of a deal. So I'm just going to blast this down. Another thing that you could try to do on this one would be to utilize pins. The whole pin concept is going to be good for getting that ball down there farther. Think of it this way, if we can get it to 50% club, something like that, just makes it that much easier to hole out. However, with that being said, we should be able to make it from back here. I am not really familiar with this, so I do want to see. I'll probably use my Hive. Sorry, let me restore this real quick. So I live in the free state of the app as well as the paid. So you'll see that mine jumps back and forth from time to time. That's exactly what happened there. So I'm just going to resync up. And we're going to use, I would imagine this is going to be very close to the Hive 8. Maybe even it has even just a tad bit more range than Hive 8. So if anything, whatever the percentage shows, maybe just a little bit beyond that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to position, get this ball guide looking the way that we want. I'm thinking something along the lines of this. And then like I mentioned, whatever this percentage shows, just since it's not. Now, if you wanted to go and change your scale to get a little bit more precise, feel free to do so. Also, feel free to use your practice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to estimate and say, well, this looks like 85. However, this has a little bit more range. So maybe 87 would be a good estimation. And you can see what we're doing with the ball guide, keeping it just a little bit short. Maybe just around 3 rings short of the pin there. And like I mentioned, utilize your practice and just try to hone in on those adjustments. This is going to be right around 3 rings. 86, 87% is almost spot up 3 rings. So I'll pull 3 exact so you at least have a reference. And like I said, you guys can try to dial these in just a little bit more beyond what I'm doing. I'm just kind of giving you guys a rough starting point. And especially if you're looking to shoot a good number, and you can see that's just a little bit too much. So maybe you don't even need to overpull. Keep in mind that the ring adjustments, it does factor in that hook that you see coming back towards the hole. So it's a little bit overplay on the adjustment. It factors in overplay. So 2.9, 2.8, somewhere in that range is going to be 2.85 is going to be like a perfect ring adjustment there. If you are in a similar spot. So feel free to, utilize that to your advantage. Best of luck on that one. And let's jump in here, number 2. See what this looks like. You can see this is around 6 rings for max or so. I'm going to utilize that backspin. Also, not too sure how well this is going to roll out. I know we're landing into an upslope. So I'm trying to factor that in. You can see we got some left spin, some right spin on this. We also got the maybe 0.4 rings or so. If you want to really try to dial that in, feel free to do so. Use your I'm just trying to get through these kind of in a timely fashion. I'm not sure what the overall span is for this club. I could map that out real quick. This was what, 6 rings for max? That would be 11. This down here would be about 15. So if we're about, so this club has about 15 rings of span. We're about 6 from. So I just like kind of quickly estimated. And then like I said, we'll put this back kind of very similar position to where we were, right in here. And if you want to really dial this in, you know, you can use this as just the starting point. It doesn't need to be, you know, exact. And I'm just going to pull kind of rough, a real quick 1.9. Let's just see how this pans out. As you can see, it lands right in front of the hole, just too tight. So it looks like I have to be maybe 0.7 from the pin, give or take. But you can see the ring adjustment there, pretty spot on, right in front of the hole, exactly where we wanted it. It just came in too hot. With the missing ball guide, you have to just kind of estimate just a little bit better than I did how much ball guide is missing. I wanted to make sure that it didn't come up short, which we did. Just unfortunately, we weren't able to make it. Now, funny thing about this hole, you could see, you know, one of the ways that we can do this is we could just kind of stretch out, hit this down, and do it that way. Or we can pull back here to our Hellfire, and we can basically drive Hellfire easily just as far as that driver. So you can see landing on this slope, what it does to the guide here. And you can see this is saying somewhere around, and feel free to use those practices to your advantage. You know, it's definitely recommended that you guys try to capitalize and make sure that you don't make any mistakes. Like I said, you know, with this hole specifically, you hit on the downslope, as long as you catch the fairway there, you're going to get a ton of rollout beyond what you could do with the normal club. So this Hellfire should go longer than the Nautilus. That's a nice little trick for you guys. 327. Maybe even, you know, stretch it out farther than I did. But as you can see, we don't need to really. This is far enough. Thinking that's somewhere right around 2 backspin. This is going to break hard to the right, so you're going to see that I keep the ball guide kind of intentionally short and maybe to the left of the hole a little bit. Let me jump back in here. Reactivate this real quick. Max numbers saying 291. We're just pretty much going to use max. Pretty spot up. And look at how short that guide is. If you want to use that as a reference. You can see I'm about maybe 375 rings from the pin. So from here to there, it's about 375 rings. So you can use that as kind of a starting base. And then my spin was pretty much spot on. 2 backspin, 1 left. And it looks pretty good. Just going to break to the right. Came up just a hair bit short. But you can see all in all, that's a pretty good starting point. And definitely working through, you know, practice attempts. It's the easiest way to really hone in on those. And, you know, all 3 of these are going to be makeable. So the goal for you guys would be, I would be shooting for trying to get like a -6, -7. Definitely going to be doable, especially, you know, everybody has the same conditions. So everything that I'm showing you, you're going to have the exact same thing. So keep all that in mind. Best of luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one coming up.